New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Yes, broadcasting from the super special radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts in the extremely secure concrete bunker located somewhere around Akron, Ohio, in which no one except one person knows where it's at, and that's Diego Reyes. Now, our guest this evening, the Reverend Jeff Radcliff, he thinks he knows where it's at, but he has no clue where the top secret bunker is located, and we're going to keep it that way. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael Mangus, and it is so good to have you here this evening. We do have a wonderful show for you, and I know that lots of people would like to comment this evening, hopefully. So please feel free to leave your comment either on Facebook or on YouTube. And also for those shy people out there who don't want to get on the comment section of either Facebook or YouTube, I understand. Go to pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. Let me see who this first comment is from. I think I know. No, I don't. Hi there. Okay. Well, hey, that's a great start to our show this evening. The purpose of our get-together is to get real, for all of us to gather by the fire, to have our cup of something. This is just coffee, by the way. No, Jeff, this is not gin or rum. It may be, but no, this is pure 100% coffee. But for us to have a chat about real issues and to talk about them from an aspect of a spiritual perspective in which we can do something about it. This is about being empowered. Yes, I know that the news, a lot of the news is not positive. I get that. However, our response can be. So that's the reason why we have this news portion. That's the reason why we have special guests and commentators on, is so that we can not figure it out, but that we can have a loving conversation about everything that's going on in the news. Well, yes, he is back again. He did survive the tornadic weather last evening in Tennessee. It is so nice to have back with us the Reverend Jeff Radcliff. Jeff is from the great state of Tennessee, and he always has a comment or two about the news and how we can always come from a spiritual perspective. Jeff Radcliff will be our guest here in the second half of the program. Well, happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone here coming up. St. Patty's Day will be here on Sunday. So in America, St. Patrick's Day usually means some parades. We had one around here, a visit to a local Irish pub, dyeing the rivers green, and even putting food dye in beer, which I think is a complete waste. And while it isn't a federal holiday here in the United States, it is a national one in Ireland. So when is St. Patrick's Day? Well, this year it's on Sunday, on March 17th. And while it's not a federal holiday in the U.S., most people will get to enjoy some festivities with a day off because the Irish holiday this year is on a Sunday. What's interesting is that St. Patrick's Day here in the United States was first celebrated in St. Augustine, Florida in 1600. The first known St. Patrick's Day parade was held on March 17th, 1601. The reason for the celebration on March 17th is because that is supposedly the date that St. Patrick died. Now, this is for Reverend Jeff from the great state of Tennessee. Knoxville ranked as one of the top places for St. Patrick's Day celebration. I would think it would be Nashville, but the best city for St. Patrick's Day combine a rich tradition with tasty and affordable food, safe conditions to celebrate, and good weather, says the website Wallet Hub. This year, Knoxville will celebrate the Irish Saint all weekend long with a traditional St. Patrick's Day parade through downtown, a festival at the World's Fair Park, concerts, and bar crawls. And so, again, the reason being is that Wallet Hub ranked Knoxville 13th in all the American cities is because that they have a 47% percentile of Irish population, a 22% percentile of Irish pubs and restaurants, and also a weather forecast that is 19%, which means that it's supposedly going to be good weather down there. Well, we'll have to talk with Jeff. Jeff, if you could look up the weather for Sunday for Knoxville and see if they're going to have St. Patrick's Day festivities. Jeff is just looking right at the camera and saying, "What are you talking about?" Well, anyhow, in the more serious news here, though, voters in Russia are casting their ballots for its presidential election today, which is all but certain to extend Vladimir Putin's rule throughout this decade and into the 2030s. The majority of votes will be counted over the next 3 days, including in the occupied parts of the Ukraine where Russian forces are attempting to exert authority. Putin was sworn in as Russia's president in 2000 and signed a law in 2021 that allowed him to run for 2 more presidential terms, potentially extending his rule until 2036. So our prayers for peace and order are still for the people of Russia and also Ukraine. The war there is in the 3rd year. And the intention is for both sides here to sit down and have a peaceful solution. However, what if you have a leader that is bent on taking over another country? The one thing I want you all to know is this: if we can't do anything physically, we can pray and we can know for divine order, harmony, and peace. And that's because, again, that we are all one. All right. Our next story here. No, this is not Jeff Radcliffe's closet. This is Former President Donald Trump appeared in court on Thursday. That is a storage room at Mar-a-Lago. He appeared in court on Thursday as his lawyers tried to convince judge that his classified document case should be thrown out based upon unconstitutional vagueness. Following a tense hearing, U.S. District Court Judge Aileen Cannon rejected Trump's claim that the law prosecutors used to charge him for allegedly now retaining national defense records without authorization was too vague to be used against him. The classified documents case is one of 4 criminal cases that Trump is facing while marching forward with his 2024 bid to regain the White House. So it's shaping up to be a repeat of the 2020 election with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So my question here is, what candidate represents your spiritual values the best? I am encouraging everyone to register to vote in their primaries and also in the general election this November. If it has been a while since you have voted, please check with your local board of elections to make sure that you're still registered. The power of the vote shapes the course of this country and also other countries. Elections have consequences. The reason we have a conservative Supreme Court was because 45, when he was in office, had 3 Supreme Court picks. We had a reversal of Roe v. Wade that put legal abortion in jeopardy here in the United States. Now, state by state, that's being turned around, even here in the state of Ohio, which is considered to be a red state or very conservative. There are over 600 pieces of legislation in state houses and also in their senates that are anti-LGBTQ. The time is now to get in legislators that will vote in a manner that will really stand for civil, ethical, and moral rights. In other news here, James Crumley, the father of the teenager who killed 4 students at a Michigan high school in 2021, was found guilty on Thursday of involuntary manslaughter. The trial comes a month after the shooter's mother was convicted of the same charge. Legal experts say that the groundbreaking verdict could set an important precedent for the extent to which parents of school shooters can be held responsible for their child's action. In arguments during the week-long trial, prosecutors say that Crumley was grossly negligent. He bought a gun for his then 15-year-old son 4 days before the attack. He failed to properly secure it and ignored his son's spiraling mental health and did not take reasonable care to present the foreseeable danger, prosecutors say. The charges handed down to both parents each carry a maximum punishment of up to 15 years in prison, which would run concurrently. All right. Was it negligent of Crumley to buy a 15-year-old gun? Well, in over 30 states, it's okay to buy your minor child a gun starting at the age of 14. This is a picture of one of the victim's mothers. So was it the parents' responsibility to monitor the young man's behavior? Well, absolutely. In this country, it is extremely easy to purchase guns. So let's remember that the shooter was in the principal's office. He was in the principal's office with his parents, and he had in his backpack the gun. Will the courts hold parents responsible if their minor child goes and shoots up their school? So personally, I think it will depend upon the circumstances case to case. If the young man or woman goes ahead and breaks into the gun case or the gun safe and takes a gun, well, that may be one thing, or steals a gun. That's another case. The bigger fish to fry, and again, I say that because this is the Christian season of Lent, and also on Friday, many Christians are eating fish today, is when are we going to have real gun reform in this country? This is exactly the reasons why elections matter. When you hear individuals say that there is nothing that you can do personally about situations like this, tell them that there is. Vote into office legislators that really want to keep our kids safe in schools by banning assault-type weapons. This and many other social issues transcend politics. It doesn't matter whether you're on the right or on the left or in the middle. My question to you this evening is, do you care about what happens to our children in schools? If you do, and if you are pro-life, then let's put something on the table here. Let's get gun reform done in this country. It is a moral and ethical issue here that hopefully that we can find support. All right. As Jeff was talking to me about before the show here, we had some powerful storms go through our area, and also it also dumped 4 feet of snow in parts of Colorado on Thursday, prompting widespread disruptions and closures. Commuters in the state were unable to access over 50 miles of I-70 as over a half a foot of snow fell in the Denver area, and that's where New Thought Media Network is located. The same system fired up several thunderstorms from Oklahoma and Kansas to Illinois earlier this week. And meanwhile, tornadoes in Ohio and also Indiana, that's from Ohio, from southern Ohio, left at least 2 people dead on Thursday. The storms have destroyed parts of towns and also knocked out power for thousands. The severe weather threat will shift to the U.S. Southeast today, where more than 30 million people from Texas to South Carolina could see severe storms that include large hail, damaging wind gusts, and also heavy rain and tornadoes. So please stay safe out there. Take it seriously when the meteorologists tell you to take cover in an interior room or bathroom. I heard one meteorologist said last night is, while doing that, wear a helmet. Why is that? It's because, again, flying debris happens in these kind of storms. And so, Hopefully that the helmet will help. But again, get into the interior or into an interior room of your home. Reverend Jeff told me to give up my hobby of storm chasing. Just kidding, just kidding. I leave the storm chasing to the pros. Going into an active storm system that may turn into a tornado is not my idea of fun. And that's the news. And we have other news stories to talk about after the break, including an op-ed piece that was put in the New York Times last week called The Long Strange History of Manifesting. And maybe if we get to it, full-time ministry drains too many clergy and church budgets. Part-time pastors can help. I have a few things to say about that. And hopefully, I know that Reverend Jeff will too. Okay. What is going on here in the world of Summit Spiritual Center? Because that's the place where I'm currently pastoring, helping. For more information, please go to summitcsl.org. There you will find information about our wonderful Sunday gatherings online at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time. Grab your cup of coffee, your tea, your espresso. Please join us. I do believe that we have one of the best services in all of New Thought. And this Sunday, we will have speaking New Thought Media Network superstar and all-around nice guy, the Reverend Michael Mangus. With his topic on planting seeds to your prosperity. Go to summitcsl.org for more information, how to join our Zoom call. Our service is also simulcast on the Summit Spiritual Center Akron Facebook page and our Facebook page, and also on the New Thought Media Network Facebook page, and also on our YouTube page. We have past broadcasts of yours truly when he is on the New Thought Media Network. I want to thank each and every one of you who are watching this evening, who have donated to our network. And this week, we have received some wonderful news. We put in at the beginning of the year, a few weeks ago, a grant proposal for a technology grant for equipment specific for our ministry of helping other ministries stream their conferences. This week, we got great news is that the grant was approved, and we want to thank the Heffernan Foundation for their help in that. And that we still need your help. Again, that we are taking this message to the whole entire planet. If you have not given or would like to increase your gift, go to New Thought Media Network, go to ntmedia.org/donate, give a very generous one-time gift, or you can also give a monthly gift. A sustaining gift helps us, again, to set budgets, and that we know that the money is in the bank and we don't freak out the accountant saying that we're spending money that we don't have. Again, ntmedia.org/donate. Let's see who's with us this evening. Well, of course, it's Mr. Wayne. Jeff is acknowledging Mr. Wayne. Hey, Mendy, how are you? The chandelier goes so well with those boxes. Hey, only the best for classified secrets, huh, Mendy? Jeff is saying, hi, Mendy, how are you? Well, good to see everyone this evening. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be right back with Jeff Radcliff. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Zoe DeMuro.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
And all the way from the storm cellar at his house in Tennessee, we have the Reverend Jeff Radcliff. Jeff, you got a bit of those storms last night too, didn't you?
It didn't turn out nearly as bad as what the Weather Channel said we were going to get. We got a little bit of rain, we got a little bit of lightning, we got a little bit of thunder. The only thing is I could have done with it happening at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, whenever it was that Lily woke me up. She does not deal well with thunder.
Oh,
and
I know.
So, and she sleeps with me on the bed. And so I had to reach over and hold the pillow over her. And she finally stopped. It's a joke, people. It's a joke. I didn't hurt her.
No animals were hurt.
No animals
during
were hurt.
the storm.
This was not the set of Rust. Okay? I did. That's an edgy joke right there, isn't it?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
I may get called into the office for that on Monday.
Well, you tell Reverend Robert to come see me.
Okay.
No, but she woke me up in the middle of the night, and I don't sleep all that well anyway. And so I'd finally dropped off, and then she starts barking, but it only lasted for probably 20, 25 minutes, something like that. And it was over. And we came out, this morning and took her out for her first walk. And we had a lot of wind. We were expecting that, the potential of tornadoes didn't happen, but there was enough wind to practically the ground was practically dry. So the wind just kind of blew all that mess away.
Yeah, we had tornadoes that were west of us that Diana was on the Weather Channel watching yesterday. We almost had to go down to the basement. So, talking about Diana.
Yeah, my
Hi,
girlfriend.
Jeff. Hi, Jeff.
Let me adjust my camera a little bit.
Hi, Jeff. Your new
Oh,
girlfriend.
yeah, my girlfriend. Yeah, yeah. Between her and Marcia, and Marcia knows who she is. So we'll just
Hi, Marcia. How are you?
I don't think Marcia's on tonight, but yeah, she's also she's cheating on me with her husband, who happens to be a very, very highly placed New Thought minister in one of our major organizations. And let's just leave it at that.
Okay, we will just.
But she's a sweetheart. They're both sweethearts, Diana and Marcia. And yeah, so
yeah, she's technically my boss here in Akron.
So I hear. I'm
she can call Reverend Robert at any time and get me into a lot of hot water.
I am just so glad that she came through the storm unscathed. But then it doesn't surprise me because I know you've got her holed up in some little trailer park in Akron somewhere.
She was in the secure concrete bunker.
That's what I'm saying.
So
yeah, the secure concrete bunker is in the middle of this trailer park. Everybody knows it.
No.
I have to tell everybody.
Okay.
Reverend Michael sends me a bunch of stuff that he says, this is what we're going to talk about today. So, here, get familiarize yourself with it. This is what we're going to talk about. And not one damn thing he talked about on the news today was in the document he sent me earlier. Not one thing.
Not one?
Not one.
Come on.
Mm-mm.
I didn't send you hold on here. I didn't send you the one about the long, strange history of manifesting.
Nope. Mm-mm.
You know what? I may have sent you.
You sent me probably last week.
Well, you know what? That's okay, because now we can get your raw opinion about the news. So anything that you want to cover here before we go into
in the document you sent me, you talked about that Arizona trespass bill, and that is just freaky stuff to me. Here we've got a state that already recognizes a person's right. They have castle doctrine there. Stand your ground. If somebody's going to come breaking into your house, you have the right to use deadly force to protect yourself and your family.
Yes.
They are expanding this to include people who might just happen to be meandering across your property, minding their own business. They just happen to step onto your land. You can blow their ass up, blow them away. And and I'm like, really, people? Don't you remember what it says in Exodus about thou shalt not kill?
And also, how do you treat strangers?
Exactly.
Again, they go ahead and they quote from Leviticus all the time about those homosexuals, but they don't read about, they go ahead and they cherry pick scripture by saying, okay, well, how about what it says about strangers? We are, and people in our land is we are to respect them. We are to give them hospitality. We are to treat them like family. Go ahead.
We've got a statue in New York Harbor that says, send me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The only thing is, it doesn't say on that plaque on the bottom of Lady Liberty's pedestal, it doesn't say as long as they come through Ellis Island.
Oh, absolutely. And and again, it was interesting a few weeks ago when President Joe Biden went ahead and he sent to Congress a bill that was hammered out by both Democrats and Republicans. It would have been the strongest bill for border control ever. And the Republicans turned it down because number 45, who will remain nameless, went ahead and said, oh no, I want it to be a campaign issue. So don't do anything now.
Yeah. And and oh, you probably should have brought this up because now I'm going to go off. Now I'm getting ready. I'm fixing to go off, folks. Here we go. Did you catch the Republican response to the State of the Union address a few days ago?
No, because I would have had, because I would have had to take a gun and shoot up my TV. So that's the reason why I did not watch it. But go ahead, Jeff.
I struggle to name her properly. Her name is Senator Katie Britt. Okay, not Crazy Britt, Katie Britt.
No,
but
okay, we have to show a little respect. Go ahead.
No. Here's where she went off the rails. She was on the committee to hammer out that bipartisan agreement, and then when Donald Trump sent out his little missive, I don't want you all to vote for this, she voted against it. That is what drives me kind of nuts. I'm not, it just, how can you work that hard to bring two parties together only to turn around at the behest of somebody who is in a presidential race, who's not even got any real authority over Congress, who says, don't vote for this, and you do it? That is the nutso part of it.
He has 96 criminal accounts charges towards him right now. 96.
Progressive pundit David Pakman has a very eloquent way of describing him, which I will not go into. Feel free to look him up. His last name is spelled Pakman. Look him up and see how he describes Trump. But it just is amazing to me that so there you go.
We need to pay attention to the politics, folks, and I know that they're saying, many people, especially in Utah, are saying, well, don't be political. How can you not with what is going on in this country? So I'm personally not asking you to go out into the street unless you're called to do that. What I'm asking everyone is to vote, is to do your research and go vote. Vote your values. Don't vote for the party, vote your values.
Yeah.
Because that's going to make a huge difference in the trajectory that our country is going.
Right.
So do you want to talk about any of the other two articles
any of the things that you talked about tonight? Yeah, we can do that. As an LGBTQ plus Scots Irish American, I will take on I took on your assignment to tell you what the weather was going to be like in Knoxville this weekend. And the parade is tomorrow. They're not holding it on Sunday. They're holding it tomorrow. And it's going to be about 70 degrees, partly cloudy. And the parade starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you're going to go to Knoxville, they're going to be shutting down streets about 11:15. So you'll need to get there early if you're going to go. They've got, what was his name? I'd never heard of the guy before. The actor who's going to be doing who's Grand Marshal of the parade. And he should be on this article that I'm scrolling through, but I don't see him on here. I looked at, he's actor and comedian Josh Mancuso, and he's from Tennessee. I'm not sure where in Tennessee he's from. Probably Knoxville, for all I know. But he is going to be the Grand Marshal. And so parade kicks off tomorrow at about 1 o'clock.
So what time do the bars open?
Probably a little earlier than that. Probably 11, I would think.
Yes, and they'll be serving green eggs and ham.
Okay. At least they're not dyeing the entire river green like they do in Chicago.
Well, that's another story. I didn't look that one up. All right. So so I have two other stories here. I have the one, it was called The Long Strange History of Manifesting, which was sent out on the listserv for CSL ministers by Jim Lockhart.
I'm not a CSL minister, so I don't.
I know. Okay. And then we have another one called Full-Time Ministry Drains Too Many Clergy and Clergy Budgets. Part-time pastors are the answer. So is there one of those stories you want to go into?
We could talk a little bit about both of them.
All right. Well, let's talk.
Whichever one you want to start with.
All right. Well, let's do. So this is an op-ed piece by someone who is, again, extremely brilliant. It's Tara Isabella Burton. Dr. Burton had her did her dissertation on 19th century French literature and theology, and she graduated from Oxford in 2017. So very, very brilliant woman. She went ahead and she wrote an op-ed piece in the New York Times, and it says that reality is what you make it, at least according to those who believe in manifesting, the art and the quasi-spiritual science of willing things into existence through the power of desire, attention, and focus. So then she goes into a history about New Thought, about Phineas Parker Quimby, about Mary Baker Eddy, about some of the past authors, for example, like William Walker Atkinson and also James Allen. He said, by the late 19th century, in that era of staggering inequality known as the Gilded Age, the influence of New Thought had begun to seep into the economic theory and become a popular frame through which to make sense not only of sickness, but also of poverty. Nobody who truly wanted to be rich, a new wave of books claimed, would ever end up poor. So they're saying that, again, that the premise is that everyone's at fault if they're poor. Everyone's at fault if they are ill. Everyone's at fault. So, please go on to the New York Times and read this. Very interesting article. As one New Thought advocate, Charles Benjamin Newcomb, wrote in his book of 1897, which I've never read. It's called All Is Right with the World. He's quoted, "None is really shut out of the feast of life except the self-exiled. And those who want in on the banquet had only to repeat to themselves the following mantra, which frankly sounds a lot like something you may find on TikTok today. I am well, I am opulent, I have everything, I do right, and I know." So what she's saying is, in this way, the capitalist pursuit of profit was swiftly recast as a religion whose only tenet was desire. But then she says this, she says, but the Gilded Age optimism about human potential has a dark side. After all, if anyone could achieve health and wealth and success simply by wanting it badly enough, logic held that the converse was also true. The poor, the sick, and the vulnerable had brought their conditions upon themselves by failing to possess the requisite will to change. And again, it goes on. It says, unsurpassingly, throughout the 20th century, New Thought ideology was frequently involved to justify the denial of social services to the poor. We'll have something to say about that in a moment. on the grounds that it would interfere with the purposeful working of the energies of the universe, which wish to reward only those at the top of the heap. New Thought I'm just reading parts of this article here. New Thought offered a convenient economic theology, a way of explaining and justifying the wealth inequality as a kind of spiritual hierarchy, with the wealthy at the top and the suffering at the bottom. And it is notable that manifesting New Thought's modern descendant should rise to prominence at a moment when economic inequality is once again at an all-time high. I'm just going to continue reading. While New Thought may not be alive in some form today, well, it is, its legacy is clearly visible in American life. And they mentioned about the prosperity gospel, about, according to one study, 3/4 of American Christians say that they agree with the statement, God wants us to prosper financially. And it can also be traced back to wellness brands and also gurus like Oprah and also Tony Robbins and also Norman Vincent Peale and Rhonda Byrne's The Secret. Echoes of New Thought are visible in our politics too, where self-invention and the idea that reality can and should be bent to belief has never been more in vogue than today. And they go on, the final paragraph says, today as in the 19th century, the belief that we can will things into reality comes with a dark side too. In an era when outlandish lies can and do influence elections, manifesting has become as much as about exerting influence over the other as it is about improving one's finances or healing from illness or self-actualization or vibes. It is only by understanding the religious and occult traditions from which the concept of manifesting descends that we can see it for what it truly is, a spiritualized gloss on the same diluted logic that suggests that poverty is a choice and that underpins so much political disinformation. After all, if reality is only ever what we make it, then those who possess the fewest scruples about conforming to the truth are the ones who will have the most power to shape the future. Your comment, Reverend Jeff Radcliff.
If I could sit down with Dr. Burton, I would first suggest that she read a little farther than just The Secret, because Rhonda Byrne came out with several sequels after that. Everybody knows that The Secret didn't give you the secret to manifesting. It started you on the path. It didn't give you everything.
Right.
We here in New Thought have been teaching this stuff for over 100 years, close to 150 years. Okay. And we know that there's more to it than just wishful thinking. We know that there's more to it than just affirmations. We know that there's more to it. I admire what Ernest Holmes said. You know, he talked about you've got to do the work. You can't just, live on the theory, but you got to eventually throw the book out the window and start living the stuff.
Right.
Okay. Put feet to your prayers, as the saying goes.
So what do you think? Go ahead.
You cannot pray for prosperity and then sit on your butt and wait for Ed McMahon to rise out of the grave and bring you a check from Publishers Clearinghouse. It ain't going to happen, folks. It's not going to happen. But if you get out there and you do the work, if you decide, I'm going to start a business of my own, or I'm going to apply for this job and that job and the other job, whatever, you will end up receiving some manner of prosperity. Will you get all the way to millionaire status? Depends on your consciousness and how much effort you are willing to put into that. But if you just want to sit around and do your little affirmations and wait for the bluebird of happiness to come flying over and plunk a bag of money down on your doorstep, you might as well just No, it's not. It doesn't work that way.
What set me off in this whole op-ed piece was, again, surprisingly, throughout the 20th century, again, she's blaming New Thought ideology was frequently invoked to justify the denial of social services to the poor on the grounds that it would interfere with the purposeful workings of the energies of the universe, which wish to only reward those at the top of the heap. You have not done your research, Dr. Burton.
Mm-mm.
What you've done is you've gone ahead and you have made a conclusion based upon facts that you consulted the books, but you did not consult the experts. You did not consult other people in the field that would have told you that this statement is a blatant lie. What has denied services to the poor has been the Protestant work ethic more than anything else. That says if you don't work, you don't eat. Mm-hmm. So to go ahead and to blame New Thought on us or on the whole idea that we do not provide services to the poor just because their consciousness is not right or that they need to work themselves out of wherever that they're at is just a blatant lie. Jeff Radcliff.
She kind of glossed over it very, very slightly. New Thought didn't start out as a prosperity gospel. It did not. We started out as a healing teaching. And back in the 1880s, when this was taken off in the 1890s, doctors were not as prevalent as they are now. Specialists were not as prevalent as they are now. There is a story of, there are tons of stories out there. You can look them up. Read about Melinda Kramer. Read about Nona Brooks. Read about some of the early folks in our movement. Melinda was having dinner with some friends of hers, and somebody came knocking on the door and says, "Oh, so-and-so is sick. You need to come pray. You need to come and heal them." She excused herself from the dinner table, left her guests in her home, went to this person's house, prayed for them, and when the doctor came around, eventually, the person was healed. They came back. She came back to her house, and her friend said, "Well, what happened to so-and-so? What was wrong with her?" And she goes, "Well, I never see nor name disease. All I see and name is the complete, perfect wholeness of spirit." That's what, and people healed whenever these early New Thought practitioners went out and did prayer for them, simply because there was no other alternative. They had to believe, and they believed with their whole hearts that this is going to happen, and it happened. Just as miraculous as anything that you would read Jesus doing in the Bible.
And that, again, that the medicine back then, the practice of medicine, was very archaic. That, they were still using leeches and other things. Again, you could get killed just by the some of the prescriptions that some of these quote unquote doctors gave. So what New Thought did was, again, it empowered women also and gave them a career in healing. That many times that women were denied careers at that time, but it gave individuals and gave especially women the opportunity to earn a living by healing. And it was safer to go to a practitioner than to go to some of these doctors.
Exactly.
Mendy says, as she says, it's not ours to judge. It is our job to love. Absolutely, Mendy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see here. Also, it says, I have started to take classes at CSL Fort Lauderdale about the mystic and manifestation. While down there, please say hello to Dr. John Waterhouse, who is their interim minister down there.
Not interim anymore. He was voted in.
He was voted in. Well, how wonderful.
He is the official new minister.
He's the official minister. Okay. It says some have talked negatively about Louise Hay, and what if it were both? And what is Science of Mind Spiritual Living about today? Take that on, Jeff.
Louise Hay was she basically opened up some doors to people exploring what it is to be healed. Now there are some. Now she wrote, heal your, how to heal your life, something.
You can heal your life, yes.
Yeah. But these are very general affirmations about very general physical conditions. People picked that up and ran with it, and for a while they had a lot of success with bringing healing to their own physical body. And then you had some people who said, well, this doesn't work for me. That's because you are an individual. You have different ideas. Everything that she put in that book is not written in stone. She was not Moses coming down off the mountain with the 10 Commandments. What she gave us was a framework, an idea that we could expand on. Now, maybe, healing my elbow, whatever affirmations that she might have for healing your elbow may not work for me. But I know that if I go within and I get in touch with my inner spirit self, my inner God knowing, I will find the affirmation that I can use to heal my elbow. Hers was not a one size fits all. Hers was more of a one size fits most.
Right.
But there was plenty of room to wiggle around, to explore, to find out what worked better for you.
And many teachers call that the cookbook method. Whereas, for example, you used your elbow. Well, they the chefs or the cookbook folks say that every part of the body has a metaphysical meaning. And so then when there is dis-ease, that there may be some reason, either in the mental or spiritual, on why that's happening. So again, I've used Louise Hay's book with working with clients, but how I use it is if we're dealing with an illness or a dis-ease, as she said it was, which is again being out of ease, that what I do is I say, this is what the book says. Does it resonate with you or not? And so I think that using it kind of as a starting place for the conversation, rather than saying that, again, that this is stuff that came from Moses up on the mount, again, that Louise Hay came from the tradition of religious science. She was a student at the First Church Religious Science in New York City. She was a student of the late great Dr. Stuart Grayson, and that again, that's who she received her ministerial training from. So again, and that New Thought is much more than Louise Hay. It's much more than The Secret. And so the Facebook user, I'm really glad that you're attending on a regular basis Fort Lauderdale. I think that you'll find a lot of wonderful people down there. You have a wonderful minister down there too. I think that will, again, to help you to shift your life to whatever that brought you there, again, to really start talking about with the practitioners and the ministers there so that they can help you use this teaching not only to heal your life, but also to heal the other people around you. Go ahead, Jeff.
I was just going to say, and I know that we're running out of time, but I think Louise Hay would be happy if people were to take what she brought to the world and expand on it, to use it in new and different ways. And I think that she would agree that this is written on paper. It's not on stone. There are so many ways to go about this, and whatever works for you is great. I think that's exactly what she'd say.
And we're all out of time.
Of course.
You
did this on purpose to me.
No, I don't,
You make these hours go so quickly.
Okay. the world is wondering, Mendy is wondering, are you wearing pants tonight or not?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a rumor on Facebook that you were going to appear on the air without pants.
There was no. Was there really? No. I can't show you, but yeah, they're kind of
okay. Well, we don't have.
They're an athletic type pant.
Yeah. Well, we trust you, Jeff. I always remember I had an assistant in Pittsburgh. She says, now, Pastor Mangus, she says, now just make sure that you're wearing pants when you go on Zoom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I said, what would even prompt you to even say that? But she said, you need to be, she said, just make sure I'm not accusing you of anything, but just make sure that when you go on Zoom that you have everything clothed. I said, okay. Reverend Jeff, we're all out of time. Let's see who else. We had another comment here. Hi, Mindy. Well, thank you, Reverend Michael. Well, thank you, Mindy. Thank you so very much for joining us this evening. Well, Reverend Jeff, we will talk to you probably in the next few weeks here.
You know where to find me.
Okay, thank you. Hey,
I will be in my own little concrete bunker.
Your own concrete bunker. Okay. From our Facebook user, so thank you. My first introduction to Science of Mind was Dr. Bitzer. Boy, is that a name.
Heavy hitter, Dr. Bitzer. That's cool.
Yes, that is so cool. Yeah, and again, I think that we want new stuff, or we want new authors, but again, there's a lot of rich consciousness in the teachings of, for example, like Dr. Bitzer and other folks. Raymond Charles Barker, we were mentioning about First Church, and those are the folks I read. And I also read Ernest Holmes, but those going back to the OGs, as the kids say, the original gangsters, the original people, and reading from their consciousness for me has been absolutely wonderful. Reverend Jeff, we got to get out of here. Thank you again. Really appreciate it.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you. So, all right, we got to go. So we will talk to you soon here. Again, if everyone could go on ntmedia.org/donate. Please consider giving us a donation, because again, that we sometimes are the only New Thought community that people come in contact with, but again, that we are encouraging the enlightenment of the planet by people again getting in touch with their own light that's within them. ntmedia.org/donate on behalf of all of us here at the New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael. I'm going to wish you a very pleasant good night and also a great weekend.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.